our process began by getting organized. We would begin by trying to take advantage of class time as we could, starting by sharing a Google Doc or a Google Slide and beginning brainstorming and generating ideas. Next step would be to exchange each other's numbers, make sure to schedule a meeting time and a meeting place, and we would later send reminders about where and when we're meeting. For each of the groups I was in general, we allocated tasks by volunteer, meaning we would ask who wanted to do which part of the assignment, if someone had a particular preference, and we would also do it by skill set. For example, I am skilled in design, so I would usually choose the more design part of the portion, like in the student philanthropy group. In the student philanthropy group, once we allocated the tasks, the next step in the process was to come back together and share the work that we had done to make sure we were all on the same page. We wanted to make sure that we clarified our questions and we gave each other feedback on the work that we had created, so that way it was a group project and not just one person doing a single part of the project. We made sure that we all agreed on the changes that we made and we came to a group consensus on our work, not just one person making a decision. Once we were confident in our ideas and our messaging, we made sure to try to tighten up what we were going to say. We were clarifying everything for the presentation, and we would divide who was going to talk about what for each slide. And this helped us better prepare ourselves for a presentation, and we had better knowledge of what we were speaking about. My personal strengths throughout each of the groups was being punctual and putting my best effort into each project. I made sure that I showed up to every single meeting, and I was always staying throughout the entirety, putting in my best effort, trying my hardest to make sure that no one was not putting in their best effort. I made sure to be open to feedback, and I made sure to make sure I reminded everyone about certain meetings so we were all on the same page with each other. The strengths throughout all of my groups, but the student philanthropy client project in particular, was dividing work evenly, and especially the dynamics within our group. I found that the student philanthropy group was the one I worked the best with because we were all we're always on time, we were always so dedicated to the projects, and we had such a wonderful dynamic with each other that we didn't feel uncomfortable expressing doubts or certain suggestions with each other, and it was wonderful. My personal weaknesses throughout the projects, but especially the EcoCap branding project, was due to sickness. I started my semester off being very sick on and off, so I wasn't able to dedicate as much time and I wasn't able to speak during the presentation. Another weakness was I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I had to make sure to try to tone that down and not be as picky about certain aspects of our projects. I did not find any issues with our student philanthropy group. Weaknesses for the branding and audience project groups were mostly scheduling, making sure that everyone could be at the same time, at the same place. And the other biggest one was being uncomfortable with feedback. As an art major myself, I'm used to critique on my work, but it was a new experience for other people. They weren't as used to it when it came to wording and maybe design of certain elements. And that'd be one thing I would improve the effectiveness in the future, was getting people used to getting feedback. I found this to be a very beneficial experience because I was able to understand the importance of learning other people's work habits. That said, I could adjust my personal habits in order to fit the dynamic of the group. And it's so important to be able to work in a group because these projects are so big, you could not have done it alone. And that in turn has helped me realize that this is something I can use on a resume and for a story for future employers to tell them how I have experience with collaboration. Because of this course, I do feel more prepared to work in collaboration with others in the future, going into the digital media master's program and really wanting to work with digital media creation. I do feel like this has been a very beneficial experience for my career.